Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, any one of you, please mute on your speakers, sound system, and you let me know uh, what is MCO for. MCO for, is it marketing management?
No, sir.
Hello,
Business environment.
business environment. Okay,
Yeah.
so uh, in business environment, how many blogs are there? How many books are there?
5 books.
5 books are there. All of you have received your hard copy of the books.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, since this is the second year of your MCO program, all of you must be knowing that each subject, your home assignment carries 30% weightage. Do you know this?
Yes, sir.
Home assignment carries 30% weightage, and your examination will be carrying 70% weightage. You know this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, since this is your first class, actually, I don't know how many classes we have to take, and these are all basically counseling classes. You have to come prepared with your doubts, and here you will put your questions, and we will try to remove your doubts through mutual discussions on different topics which will be there in your syllabus, or which will be there in your study material. So uh, can anybody tell me, because right now I don't have the um, hard copy of the material with me, study material with me. uh, the book one, can any one of you let me read out his name. Lina Mahapatra, are you hearing me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
In book one, what are the different topics which are there in book one? Hello?
Sir, business environment.
So dimensions of business.
Yes.
Dimensions of business
Hmm.
environment, socio-cultural environment, social responsibilities of
Hmm.
business, and political
Hmm.
environment.
Okay. So all of you know, let me today discuss about the social responsibilities of business and the socio-cultural environment. And from next class onwards, you go through your book. For example, in next class, from in tomorrow's class, you have to come prepared with your doubts from book one, and we will be discussing here about the different topics, and so that it will be that is how we can proceed well, and we can cover as many portion as possible. So today, let me talk to you something about the social responsibilities of business. Here, there are what do you mean by social responsibility? All business entities are basically, they are business entities. Their main objective is to earn profit. then naturally a question arises here: why the business organizations they should why the business organizations they should discharge responsibility towards the society, why they should owe responsibility to the society. Can any one of you tell me? Debabrata Jena, are you hearing me?
Sir, towards government, society.
Debabrata Jena, do you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
After all, a business entity is existing or working in order to make profit. Profit making is one of the basic objectives of a business enterprise.
Basic objective.
Then why the
Yes, sir.
business enterprise should owe responsibility to the society? Can you tell me?
And
Sir,
because business is running with our society,
Hmm.
if the society is not support, they can't grow.
As a matter of fact, every business entity it exists in the society, it takes its birth in the society, it grows and prospers in the society,
Yes, sir.
and it also uses the resources belonging to the society, resources in terms of men, material, machines. It is using all the resources, societal resources. So that's why it cannot ignore the interest of the society. If a business entity is existing solely for the purpose of making profit, it is as good as existing or living for the purpose of eating, isn't it? So that's why the business organizations they must discharge their obligations to the society. Here, society is consisting of a number of elements or number of segments, and the different segments have different expectations from a business enterprise. So, which are the segments of the society who have different expectations from the business? Which are the different segments? For example, customer is a segment, shareholders is another.
Sir,
Shareholder,
debtor,
yes,
sir,
shareholders are,
debtor and creditors and
shareholders are
lenders. All
yes,
are
they are customers, employees, government, then
yes, sir.
creditors, suppliers, bankers,
Yes, sir.
investors. These are the different elements of the society, and they have different expectations from the business enterprise. So, for example, let me tell you what is the expectation uh, of an investor from the business. What the investor will expect from the business.
To earn more and more interest. To earn more and more interest on
Yes.
the investment.
No, you are saying only one of the aspect
And
of the expectations of an investor from the business. An investor, while he is investing
and
money in a business, he is interested in 3 points. Number one is safety of his fund. Number two is liquidity of the fund. And point number three is profitability of his fund. Safety means he should be assured of the fact that the money he is investing, it should be invested in a safe avenue, in a safe outlet. Safe outlet means, suppose you are investing money, suppose a person is promising you that your money to me, I will give you 10,000 rupees. If you will invest 10,000 rupees today in my business, I will return you 15,000 rupees after 6 months. That means he is promising you, but that man is not known to you. So in that case, you will not accept it because you are more concerned about the safety of your fund. That person is not so well known to you. So why we prefer our money to be invested in a bank, public sector bank, or in a post office savings bank account? Why? Because those are government organizations
Safety
and
of
our fund is in a safe outlet. We know that if we are investing our money, or if we are depositing our money or parking our money in a bank account which has been opened in a post office or in a public sector bank, then it is in a safe outlet. It is in a safe outlet. So safety of the fund. Then liquidity of the fund means you should be able to get back your money at the time when you are in need of that money. Suppose you are depositing your money in a bank account, and when you are going to withdraw your money from the bank account, suppose the bank will say that no, we don't have cash today, and we will be able to pay you, or we will be allow you to withdraw your money from your account only after 2 days or 3 days. Then in that case, you will lose confidence in the banking system, and the bank usually don't do that because you are sure that you will be able to get back your money as and when you need it. That is liquidity of your money. Then investor is also interested in profitability. That means the money which is being invested in an outlet should fetch him a fair return, or it should give him a fair return or a reasonable earning in terms of interest or in terms of dividend. So that should be ensured, and then only the investor will be interested to invest his money in an outlet. So what is the expectation of the investor from a business enterprise? The safety, liquidity, and profitability of the fund which he is investing in the money in the bank. In the business enterprise. Similarly, what is the expectation of a customer from the business enterprise? What is the expectation of a customer from the business enterprise?
to receive a best and qualitative products and services from the enterprises or business with a reasonable cost or price.
The expectation of a customer from the business enterprise is he should be able to get quality products at the right time and in right quantity and at a reasonable price, or at a price which is within the financial means, or which is within the financial reach of the consumer. So the expectation of the customer from a business enterprise is a business enterprise should be capable of providing quality products in right time at a reasonable price. You must be knowing that the customer, every business entity has to satisfy certain utilities: price utility, form utility, place utility, time utility. That means time utility means the product must be made available to the customer when he is in need of that product. Similarly, time utility means time utility. Place utility means the product must be made available to the customer at the place where the customer is in need of that product, at the right place. Similarly, the customer should be form utility, means the product must be made available to the customer in proper form, shape, size. For example, suppose if shampoo, you know shampoo will be available in small pouches of 1 rupee or 2 rupee. Then in that case, even a daily wage earner or even a rickshaw puller can buy a shampoo pouch and he can use it. So this is known as form utility. So the product must be, the business enterprise will have to create place utility, form utility, price utility, then time utility. So that is the expectation of the customer from a business enterprise. Then creditors. What is the expectation of the creditors? Creditor expects that the money which he has lent to the business should be paid back to him at the right time with the committed amount of interest. Then that is the expectation of the creditors. That means the business should be able to repay or fulfill the claim of the creditors in right time. That means if suppose you have the bank has given, you have taken a loan or an advance from the bank, then the bank expects that you should pay back that amount of advance to the bank at the right time. Then you will become a reliable customer for the bank, and even the bank will be willing to extend you financial accommodation or financial assistance whenever you will ask for them. So that's why in order to win the confidence of the bankers, you have to repay the amount of advance you have taken at the right time. So that is the expectation of a creditor. So what is the expectation of a customer? The customer should get the right product in right time in right quantity. So in this way, different. And what is the expectation of the government? What is the expectation of the government from the business? Business
Government expectation is to collect like income tax and GST or any other indirect tax that can be levied on the business.
That means this amount of tax, it is an important source of revenue for the bank, for the government. And government carries out several developmental projects, and it can finance the growth and expansion of the economy with the help of the revenue it is collecting from the public by way of different types of taxes. Similarly, government expectation is that the business entity should help in creation of employment opportunities. The business entity must create employment opportunity so that the people will get employment and they will be able to increase their income earning capacity, and they will be able to live a better standard of life. So that is the expectation of the expectation from the business enterprise. And every business enterprise will have to that is the expectation of the government wants that all the regions, even the backward region in the country, should come to the main stream of development, and the business enterprise should help in that regard also. The business enterprise should pay the taxes in right time, because taxes are one of the important source of revenues for the government, with the help of which the government will be able to finance the growth and expansion of the economy. then the expectation of the government from the business enterprise is it must conform to all environmental norms. It must make optimum utilization of the natural resources. It must maintain, it must not, the business enterprise must not harm the environment through its activities. It must take proper, provide proper protection to the environment. Similarly, it must provide employment opportunities to the people in the society. These are the expectation of the government from the business enterprise. So, a business enterprise will be able to discharge its responsibility properly only when it caters to the interest of the different segments of the society. And as we have been discussing, different segments of the society have different expectations of the business, and all their expectations must be fulfilled. Then only the business organization will be able to prosper, and it will be considered that the business entity is taking proper care of the environment. Yes, so this is the social responsibility of the business. There are many more points with regard to the social responsibility of the business, about which I will tell you tomorrow, because actually I was not aware of the different uh, topics which are there in your syllabus, because I don't have the hard copy of your books with me. So any one of you, you can ask me, all of you, one by one, if you are having any specific doubt, particularly on this subject. Today we are discussing about the social responsibility of a business. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. You must have gone through your study material.
Sir, I can know about what is the meaning of stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
Yes,
Stakeholders
sir.
means uh, all the agencies who are interested in the affairs of the business. So the stakeholders are, these are the stakeholders, and there is one stakeholder theory also. Stakeholder theory, uh, there are different theories on social responsibilities of business, and one such theory is stakeholders theory. So if you want to know the meaning of the stakeholder, stakeholder means those groups without whose support the organization will not be able to exist.
So please speak slowly.
Yes, stakeholders means those group of people or those group of agencies without this, they support the existence of the business. Without their support, a business entity cannot exist and carry on its activities in the business. So they are known as the stakeholder. For example, a stakeholder of a company. Who is the stakeholder of a company? Stakeholder of a company.
Then, sir, a consumer can be a stakeholder,
Yes, a consumer,
a customer,
stakeholder.
a debtors, creditors, all
Shareholder can
the
be a stakeholder.
beneficiaries.
Shareholder can be a stakeholder. Suppliers can be a stakeholder. Government can be a stakeholder. That means stakeholder of a business means he is a person who affects and who is affected by the actions of the business enterprise. He is known as a stakeholder. Stakeholder means a person. You can write it down also. Stakeholder means a person who affects and who is affected by the actions of the business enterprise. And this stakeholder theory of social responsibility. There are several theories on social responsibility, and one such theory
Sir,
is
can
known
you
as
please repeat it from starting?
the meaning of stakeholder.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to write it?
Yeah, just now you told us, sir, that just note down. So that's why. Can you please repeat from there?
Yes, yes. Write down. Stakeholders are those groups without whose support the organization would not be able to exist. And stakeholder of a business enterprise, a stakeholder of a business enterprise is one who affects and is affected. One who affects and is affected by the actions of the business enterprise. And this stakeholder theory of social responsibility of a business has been given by R. Edward Freeman. R. Edward Freeman. R. Edward Freeman. These are there in your study material. He has actually developed the stakeholders theory of social responsibility of a business in 1980s. In 1980. So R. Edward Freeman, he is an American philosopher, and he is a professor in the University of Virginia. He is a professor of business administration in the University of Virginia, and he is actually known in the management literature as the founder of the stakeholders theory of social responsibilities of business. And these stakeholders can be broadly divided into two types: primary stakeholders and secondary stakeholders. Primary stakeholders are also known as internal stakeholders. They are also known as internal stakeholders. And who are the internal stakeholders? Internal stakeholders are those who engage in the economic transactions with a company. They are engaged in economic transactions. Economic transactions means purchase and sale of goods, then financial transactions. So internal stakeholders are those stakeholders who engage in the economic transactions with the company, and they can directly affect and are directly affected by the actions of the business enterprise. They are known as the internal stakeholders. And external stakeholders are those stakeholders, they do not engage in economic transactions, and they can affect and are affected by its actions. Like the suppose in a business enterprise there are can you give me an example of an external stakeholder? External stakeholder means, let me tell you what is the meaning of an external stakeholder? External stakeholder, they are not involved in any economic transactions, but they can affect or are affected by its actions. So who can be called as an external stakeholder? Society, suppliers, they are the external stakeholders. Government is an external stakeholder. But internal stakeholders are shareholders, customers,
Competitors.
yeah.
Competitors.
Yes, competitors, creditors,
Suppliers.
creditors. So in this way, R. Edward Freeman, who is known as the founder of the stakeholders theory, he has defined stakeholders in this way, and he has also classified the stakeholders into two categories: primary stakeholders and the secondary stakeholders, or external stakeholders and internal stakeholders. Yes, it is there in your study material also. Yes, whenever you are discussing about social responsibility of a business, what are the points you should focus on? Let me tell you. Write down. These are the points which you must pay adequate attention in order to know about the social responsibility of a business. Number one is the meaning and concept of social responsibility. Concept of social responsibility. 2. Why do organizations they get involved in social responsibility? Why do business organizations involve in social responsibilities? Then, what are the different factors? What are the different factors that orient a company or a business enterprise towards social responsibility? What are the different factors which affect the orientation of a company towards social responsibility? Then the next point is, as you were asking me just now, who are the different stakeholders of an organization? Who are the different stakeholders of an organization? That means who are interested in the affairs of a business and what is their expectation from the business enterprise? They are the stakeholders. Who are the different stakeholders of an organization? Then another important point is, with regard to social responsibility of a business, evaluation of the social performance or social responsibility of a business enterprise. Evaluation of the social responsibility of a business enterprise. Then arguments for and against social responsibilities of business. What are the arguments in support of corporate social responsibility, and what are the arguments against social responsibility? Then the next point is that you should know about social responsibility of a business is what limits the organizations or what prevents the organizations from being socially responsible. What prevents the business enterprises from being socially responsible? Then, what is the social responsibility of a business in the Indian context? I will explain about the social responsibility in the Indian context with the help of a few examples tomorrow. Or if possible, today also we can discuss if time will be there. Then, what are the legal aspects of corporate social responsibility? What are the provisions of the Companies Act, latest Companies Act 2013? What are the different provisions laid down in the Indian Companies Act of 2013 with regard to social responsibility of a company or social responsibility of a business? So, if you will focus your preparation on these 9 points with regard to corporate social responsibility or social responsibility of business, then I
Social audit and
will,
social accounting also here are syllabus.
it is also social accounting.
Yes, sir. Social accounting and social audit.
Okay, okay. Everything, those are also coming under the corporate social responsibility or social responsibility of business. Social accounting and social audit. Social audit means your energy audit, employment audit, then environmental audit, environmental audit. These are energy audit. Energy audit means what are the different measures you are taking in your organization, in your business enterprise for conservation of energy. What are the non-conventional sources of energy you are making use of? What are the what is the source of your energy? Whether you are self-sufficient from the point of view of use of energy or not. From the point of view of energy, whether you are self-sufficient or not. These are the different aspects which are coming under social audit. Energy audit. Energy audit. Energy audit is also a component of social audit. Yes. Social accounting. What is the meaning of accounting? Then we will discuss about the meaning of accounting in social context, societal context. Yes. What do you mean by accounting? Or as a student of
Sir,
as a student of commerce, all of you must be knowing what is accounting.
According
Why?
to the
sir,
Hmm.
accounting meaning recording of
Yes.
art of recording, classified, summarizing in a significant manner, and it also money transactions and events which are in part at least of financial character and interpreting results thereof.
No, that is a very textual definition. It is okay. But why we read accounting? Can you tell me? Why we read accounting? Why it is necessary for a student of commerce to know accounting? Accounting is a core subject. In commerce, accounting is the core competency area in commerce education. You must have a paper on accounting, accounting for managers. It is there, I think.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So, when we are reading accounting, we should know why accounting, study of accounting is essential. Because whenever we are running a business, at the end of a specified time period, it is essential to know how the business is going on. What are the results of carrying on the business for a specified time period? What is the outcome? What is the status of financial position of the business? Whether it is improving or deteriorating, that it is essential to know. Similarly, what are the results of operation of the business? Whether the business is earning profit or it is incurring losses, or there is a situation of no profit, no loss. That is essential to know. And that's why we read accounting. In order to know the financial performance of the business, and to assess the financial position of the business. Study of accounting is essential. So, in social accounting, when we are using the resources of the society, whether what are the resources of the society? The human resources, then material resources, natural resources, financial resources, physical resources, whether all these resources are put to their optimum use or not, which are the probable sources from which we can procure the resources, and ensuring their profitable utilization, ensuring their proper utilization. That can be ensured through social audit. The resources belonging to the society, we cannot make indiscriminate use of the resources, social resources. All these resources must be put to their optimum use. They must be properly preserved. So these are the different aspects which are ensured through social audit or social accounting. Accounting and auditing are very closely related terms, terminology. Only when accounting is completed, then only the work of auditing begins. Isn't it? So you must have been told about all these things in accounting. So social audit means social audit and social accounting. This is what is meant by social audit and social accounting. Yes. Uh, there was I have told you 9 points with regard to social responsibilities of business. Have you noted down them?
सर
Yes.
9 पॉइंट फिर से बता दीजिए.
Okay. First is the concept of social responsibility. Right?
यस सर.
Then why do organizations get involved in social responsibility? Both business organizations as well as non-business organizations. All types of organizations will have to involve themselves in social responsibility. As an individual also, your aim should be to be a socially responsible individual, not simply for the sake of getting degree and earning your livelihood. You should work. You should be a socially responsible individual, socially useful individual. Who is a socially useful individual? One who has concern for the society, one who uh, understands the right things in the society and works for it sincerely. And if anything is going wrong in the society, then you have to, as a socially responsible individual, you have to find out. You have to find out the causes of such wrong, and you will try to rectify it. You have to you have to try for correcting it, and if you cannot correct, then in that case you have to equip yourself to fight against it. So that individual can be called as a socially responsible individual. So here, why do organizations, both business as well as non-business organizations, they should get themselves involved in social responsibility? That is number 2 point. Then the different factors that affect the orientation of a business towards social responsibility. That means what are the different factors that orient a business enterprise towards social responsibility? Then the next point is who are the stakeholders of a business organization? Who are the stakeholders of a business organization? Then arguments for and against social responsibility. Arguments for and against social responsibility. Then why social responsibility is desirable, and there are some arguments which are also there which is against social responsibility. For example, there are many theorists who say that a business entity should be accountable to itself only. It should not, that means discharging social responsibility is an individual responsibility. It is not a social responsibility. It is not the responsibility of a company, firm of organization, or a business enterprise. Discharging the welfare of the society or providing benefit to the society is not a social responsibility, it is an individual responsibility. There are some theorists who say that as long as a business enterprise is doing its business honestly, then it is carrying out its social responsibility automatically. There are some management experts, they argue in this way. But anyway, you have to know what are the arguments for and against corporate social responsibility. Then, what limits the organizations from being socially responsible? What limits the organizations from being socially responsible? For example, cost. Whenever you are basically a business entity should be to make profit, then only it can sustain, then only it can grow. So if it will engage itself in different social activities, then it requires money, it requires fund for their fulfillment. Suppose a business entity is there, its main aim is to provide, to make available drinking water facility. Or suppose a business entity, its main aim is to provide transport services. So if it is doing its service of providing transport facility properly and honestly, then it is doing its social responsibility. There is no need to discharge its social responsibility in a different form, isn't it? So that limits cost. Social actions require money or fund. Similarly, efficiency. Efficiency is another important factor that limits the organization from being socially responsible, because it may bring down efficiency and competitive strength of a business. If a business enterprise will invest its profit for socially useful activity, then how it can grow, how it can expand its business? There are some argument in this way which are given or which are put forward, and that it will reduce, discharging social responsibility will reduce the business efficiency. It will not be able to pay adequate attention for its core activity if it will start investing in socially useful activities. Then relevance. Relevance means there are some critics who say that there is one and only one social responsibility of a business, that is to use its resources properly to increase profit. And as long as the business is following all the rules and regulations prescribed by the government, by the state, and it is engaging itself in open and free competition, and it is carrying on its business honestly without taking recourse to deception or fraud, then that business entity is discharging its responsibility to the society effectively. So these are some points which indicates how the organizations, there are some points which prevents the organizations from being socially responsible. So then the social responsibility in the Indian context. What is the meaning of social responsibility in the Indian context? Can you give me some example where the business organizations are discharging their responsibility towards the society properly? Have you heard the name of an organization, a hospital known as Tata Memorial Hospital? Yes, Tata Memorial Hospital.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Tata Memorial Hospital is run by a trust in which 65% of the shares are held by the Tata Group of Industries. That means it is one of the CSR activities of CSR activities of corporate social responsibility activities of the Tata Group of Industries. Similarly, Tata has set up several industries, several world-class organizations like your TIS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, then National Institute of Performing Arts. These are certain world-class organizations, and these organizations are run by trusts in which more than 60% of the shares are held by the Tata Group of Industries as a part of their CSR activities. So this Tata is an organization. It is not existing only for the purpose of making profit and expanding its business. It is spending huge amount of money for for socially useful activities as a part of its social responsibilities. That means they are taking, they are not only promoting their own interest, expanding their own business activity, but also they are contributing for the environmental growth of of the society, the overall development of the society. They are spending huge amount of fund for world-class research in basic sciences, in social sciences. That's why they have set up TIS and TIFR. They are spending huge amount of money out of their profit in healthcare facilities. That is the reason due to which they have set up the Tata Memorial Hospital as a part of their social responsibilities. So that is, these are a few examples of social responsibilities in Indian context. I would like to give a few more examples. You must have heard the Sri Ram College of Commerce. Sri Ram College of Commerce that has been yes. I'm not getting that information right now. I will tell you later on. That is also a CSR. That institution, Sri Ram College of Commerce, has come into existence as a part of the social CSR activities of a company that is known as Sriram Group of Companies. Similarly, Sriram Arts Center of New Delhi, Sriram Arts Center, Sriram Center of Delhi, that has also been a venture for promotion of art and culture in the society. That has been set up by the Sriram Group of Companies, isn't it? So in this way, you can cite a few examples of the CSR activities of social responsibility in the Indian context, and then legal aspects of CSR. That means nowadays, previously it was a moral responsibility on the part of all the business enterprise to whether they will invest money in social responsibility or not, CSR activities or not. It was not mandatory in the past, but in course of time, it has been made mandatory. All the corporate form of organizations, they are now, it has been mandated for them, it has been made compulsory for them, legally mandatory for all the company form of organization to invest 2% of their profit in CSR activities as per the provisions laid down in the Indian Companies Act of 2013. So that is the legal aspects of social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. Yes, this social responsibility may be of 4 types: economic responsibility, then ethical responsibility, legal responsibility, and discretionary responsibility. Social responsibility of a business can be broadly divided into these 4 types. This you should go through: economic responsibility, then ethical responsibility. Economic responsibility means every business entity has a responsibility to make the business profitable. A business entity cannot go on a loss, cannot be carried on by incurring losses, isn't it? So, to make it profitable is one of the most important objective or responsibility of a business towards itself. So, then only it can grow, it can sustain, it can expand, it can open new branches, it can open or it can start new marketing outlets, it can innovate. So, economic responsibility. Then ethical responsibility means doing what is right. The society has prescribed us certain norms, traditions. What is good and what is bad, that has been prescribed in the society. So being ethical, doing what is good or what is right, doing no harm to anybody, these are all ethical responsibilities. So every business entity should be sure that it should be ethical in conducting its business. It must not do any harm through its activities, and whatever activities are being done by the business entity, they must be right. They must be doing ensuring welfare of the society. Then legal responsibility. Legal responsibility means obeying the law, respect for law. All the laws, for example, a banking organization, it has the responsibility of carrying out all its banking activities as per the provisions of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949 and the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1934. It must obey the rules and regulations which are prescribed under the law, which are in force in a country. A company form of organization will have to obey the provisions of the Income Tax Act, Companies Act, Income Tax Act of 1961, Companies Act of 2013. The provisions, legal provisions must be obeyed by every business enterprise. Discretionary responsibility means these are voluntary responsibility. These are not mandatory. Means, for example, suppose you are a government employee. You should contribute a part of your salary for you should contribute a part of your salary by way of donation to the government, to the PM, Prime Minister COVID Care Fund or Chief Minister's Relief Fund. It is not mandatory, but it is a discretionary social responsibility. You should discharge your responsibility voluntarily. You should contribute something for the benefit of the community and for improving or bringing about improvement in the quality of life of the people. So that is known as a discretionary responsibility. So social responsibility can be broadly divided into 4 types. One is economic responsibility, ethical responsibility, legal responsibility, and discretionary responsibility. So I think these are the points which you should know about the social responsibility of a business, which is a very important component of business environment. Someone was asking me who are the stakeholders. Name the stakeholders are government, employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, community, trade unions, owners, investors. These are the different stakeholders.
Sir, how a trade union become a stakeholder?
Yes, trade unions.
How? Yes, sir.
So you should ask me. I have given you the names of a few stakeholders. Your question should be, that means you want to know what is this trade union, what is the stakeholders concern, what is the
Yes, sir.
concern of the trade union as a stakeholder.
Yes, sir.
Actually, trade unions in our country are existing for the purpose of protecting or protection of the interest of the members, workers, isn't it? Job security, then job security, quality of uh, the work environment, the environment in which the employees and the workers are working must be congenial. It must be conducive working environment must be provided to all the workers. There should be job security, proper employees education facilities and healthcare facilities for the employees and their children, their family members, isn't it? Then protection of the jobs, then proper superannuation benefits, proper welfare schemes. No injustice should be done to the workers. The workers must be, there should be proper scope for their professional growth and promotion. The workers should be promoted to the higher grade on the basis of their merit. So these are the concern of the trade unions as a stakeholder. That is their expectation. And business enterprise, the management of a business enterprise must carry on its activities which will facilitate the fulfillment of the expectation of these trade unions. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Similarly, owners, investors, they are the different stakeholders. So I am giving you a brief assignment to you. All of you please write down. And you try to find the answer from your study material. And if you will fail to find out the answer, then I will explain it tomorrow or some other day. Write down the question. Who is a stakeholder? Define a stakeholder. Define a stakeholder. Define a stakeholder. And next question is, what are the expectation? What are the expectations or concerns? What are the expectations or concerns of the stakeholders from the business enterprise? From the business enterprise. So I have already explained you.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Sir,
Pardon?
the second question, can you please repeat?
What are the expectations or concerns? What are the expectations or concerns of the stakeholders from the business enterprise? From the business enterprise. So here you have to define who is a stakeholder, what is a stakeholder, what is the definition of a stakeholder, who has given the stakeholders theory of social responsibilities of a business, and who are the stakeholders, and what are the stakeholders' expectations from the business enterprise. So as one of the learners, he was asking me, what is trade union is a stakeholder, and what are the expectations of the trade union? Trade unions expect that the workers' jobs should be protected. The workers must be provided with a conducive and congenial working environment. They must be reasonably paid. They must be provided with adequate healthcare, education, and other welfare facilities, not only for themselves, also for their family members. They should be provided with a conducive working environment. They should be provided with proper housing accommodation. They should be given ample scope for their proper professional growth. Then they must be provided with adequate and proper legitimate superannuation benefits. These are the trade unions concerned as a stakeholder from a business enterprise. Similarly, you have to find out the concern or the expectation of all other stakeholders like your government, employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, community, then owners, investors. So let me tell you one more point. What is the responsibility of a business towards its environment? Or what role a business entity can play towards the environment. The role a business entity can play towards an environment are of two types. One is preventive role, and the other one is, so three types of role: preventive role, creative role, and awareness role. Awareness role, preventive role, preventive role, curative role, CURATIVE, curative role, and awareness role. Preventive role means government has prescribed certain rules and regulations and norms for all the business enterprise to be followed for protection of the environment. All these rules and regulations must be followed right from the beginning, and this is known as preventive role. Preventive role. Curative role means, this role the business enterprise will have to perform only after the damage has been caused, incurred. So, with the help of this role, the business entity can make necessary correction or rectification or compensation to the damages which have already been done to the environment. For example, suppose a mining business organization, mining, a business entity which is engaging itself in mining. So through extraction of the minerals, many forests are being destroyed. People are to be removed from those places and they are to be settled elsewhere. So there should be massive forestation program, plantation program. So that is an example of curative role. Curative role means the business entity will have to perform some activities with the help of which it will be able to compensate damages to some extent, the damages which has been done to the environment as a result of carrying on its business activity. So this is known as curative role. And awareness role means creation of awareness among the people living in the society or living in the society. So preventive role, curative role, awareness role, creation of awareness. For example, here now, how to protect yourself from being getting infected by the COVID-19 virus, coronavirus. Government is creating awareness. Several business entities are also on their own, they are creating awareness among the people, among the customers. Then that means wearing of mask, maintaining social distance, then hand washing, use of sanitizer when there is no facility of hand washing. So these are awareness is being created. Awareness is being created for maintaining a very hygienic life, living, maintaining cleanliness in the office premises. So these are awareness rule. So in this way, responsibility towards the environment can be discharged by a business entity by playing three types of roles. One is preventive role, the second one is curative role, the third one is awareness role. So if these are certain points, if you will take into, if you will focus on these points, I think you will be able to answer whatever questions will be coming from this topic in your examinations. Yes. Anything else you want to ask?
Sir, Sir, just a like general question about this paper. This is more of a theoretical paper, right? I mean, we need to
Right,
read. Yeah.
right, right. It is a theory paper. It is a theory paper, and in theory paper, you have to prepare yourself very thoroughly. Uh, you see, after completion of your MCOM, are you all of you listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you are preparing yourself for UGC NET examination, you should have a qualification of MCOM. So in MCOM, you are being taught about accounting, finance, business environment, marketing, then research methodology, statistics, managerial economics, then human resource management. All these topics are being taught to you. So in UGC NET examination, you will be getting multiple choice type questions as well as subjective questions from all these papers. So that's why one need to be very thorough, both in practical papers as well as in theory papers. Theory papers will be helpful to you to improve your imagination, your thinking ability, your writing ability, your comprehension ability. Nowadays, whichever examination you will appear, you will be taken, you have to give a test of comprehension. Comprehension test, all of you know this? Comprehension. Test of comprehension means what? A paragraph will be there, you have to go through the paragraph, and basing on the contents of the paragraph, some questions will be there. You have to answer the questions after going through the paragraph and comprehending it. Means how well you have comprehended or you have understood the paragraph, that can be assessed from your answers which are followed to that paragraph. Test of comprehension. So that's why in theory papers you have to be very thorough in all the aspects, and you have to summarize the points, the sub points relating to each subject, each topic. Then only you will be able to answer perfectly, correct, properly. Is that all? Yes.
Sir, like tomorrow, what would be the topics like you will be covering tomorrow?
Actually, I don't have the book with me right now, so that's why I cannot say. You suggest any topic so that we can discuss tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Political.
How many classes have been assigned?
Sir, role of
How many classes have been assigned? Can you tell me?
Sir, I'm not aware of like how to know like how many classes are assigned.
Okay, I will talk to the assistant registrar of IGNU, and I will know him from him. Okay. And business environment.
Sir, sixth class. Sir, sixth class.
Okay. So from business environment, let me see the syllabus first. Yes, tomorrow we will discuss about the different types of environment. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. We will discuss about different types of environment, and basing on that we will take the class tomorrow. Okay. Yes. Let me. I am reading out the names of a few students. You tell me. You are Surabhi Mathur. You are from.
Sir, I'm from Kolkata.
Okay. You are now staying at Kolkata.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Priyanka Patra.
Sir, Bhuvneshwar Jatni.
Okay. Saraswati Sahu.
Sir, Puri.
Then Chandrakanta Param Guru. You are from?
Sir, I am from Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
From Bhubaneswar.
Devabrata Jena.
Sir, I am from Anandapur, Keonjhar.
Okay. Priyanka Patra.
Sir, Jatni, Bhuvneshwar.
What is time with the class